Hello and welcome to another edition of L.I.F.T Tutoring. I know it has been a long time since I have gotten back on my Super Smash Brothers train of ranking my players. A lot of you have been commenting and liking and subscribing, and I really appreciate it. And some of you have been really disagreeing with me, and that is okay too, because with a list like these, they're all going to be controversial no matter what. Even if I had really flipped it or switched it in and out, it still would have been controversial, and I love it. I love the fact that we can all have differing opinions and talk about these things sensibly, and be able to critically think and be able to explain on who we think is the best character. Now, I know that since I posted the last video, there have been a couple new additions to the Super Smash Brothers world. So what we're gonna do as far as those two characters, I'm actually going to do a video after the fact of the 5 characters when they fully come in, and I will say whereabouts I would put them. But for right now, I'm still gonna stick to the 76 characters that were on the original roster, including Piranha Plant, and then we'll touch on Joker and Hero and Banjo-Kazooie and whoever our 2 mystery characters are. Here's hoping it's Crash Bandicoot, please, and somebody from the Dragon Ball universe, but we will see. So, without further ado, let's get into the rankings from 40 all the way to 31. All right, number 40, Isabelle. I can hear all of you saying, why? Why is she number 40? Isabelle's range is really not that great. Her hitboxes are really short. She's kind of, a light player. She has good get back on ability with her up B, her up special attack. She can be a force to be reckoned with. She's kind of in the middle, but here's the thing. The reason I put her at number 40 is because I know that I want to be good with her, and I feel like I haven't figured out the secret sauce that is Isabelle. Because I do remember last generation Super Smash Brothers thinking to myself that Villager wasn't that good, and then I saw professionals use Villager and they're just destroying everybody. So I had the same high hopes for Isabelle in that same regard. So she actually might be a whole lot lower on this list, but I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt in the fact that I don't know how to use her, so I'm gonna put her at number 40. Number 39, Jigglypuff. Okay, so in the past, I remember there was a time where I had Jigglypuff as the worst Super Smash Brothers character that you could pick in Melee. No. The worst Super Smash Brothers character that you could pick in Brawl, and I didn't like Jigglypuff. I didn't like using her. I thought she was a waste of space. Out of all the Pokemon that we could have had, we had to have Jigglypuff. We had to have Pikachu and Jigglypuff. Why couldn't we have had somebody else? We had finally had Pokemon Trainer and Pikachu, and then there's still Jigglypuff taking up a roster spot, and I didn't like it, but I respect her. So, Jigglypuff is right here, okay? I still believe that there's certain things Jigglypuff can do with her rest attack and being able to really get back on the board like Kirby with being able to float all those times. Yes, she's a lighter character, but I still wouldn't count out Jigglypuff when it comes to people who know how to use her. And I'm not really happy the fact that I put her this high, and some people might think this low, but there she is, that's where she's at, okay? Number 38. Lil Mac. Okay, so I know that a lot of you are gonna think that I have Lil Mac way too high on this list. A lot of you are gonna think that actually he might be a little lower because, my goodness, Lil Mac he can get in and get out. Here's the problem with Lil Mac. Lil Mac doesn't have any projectiles. So if you're deciding to play a spacing game with Lil Mac, you have to be really strategic in how you're going to go about doing this. Yes, he's small. Yes, he is super quick. One, his recovery ability is terrible. It's terrible. So you gotta really stay center of stage. So somebody who is able to take the fight towards the edge of the stage, I'm talking about for like the Omega levels and having, Final Destination style. For somebody who's able to take it on the edge of the stage, it could pose a problem if you fall into certain traps that they would pose for you. But one underused move of Lil Mac is definitely his counterattack, at least for me. I always forget that it's there. So if there's somebody out there who can really make him well balanced and using smash attacks with the tilt attacks, and then, you know, making sure to control the stage with keeping your opponent right in front of you and getting in and getting out. Kind of not really poking in and poking out, but just getting in there, doing what you gotta do, get out, set your strategy again. But overall, I think this is a good spot for Lil Mac in 38. Number 37, Young Link. Okay, so Young Link is younger than Link. Zing. Anyway, so he's faster, but he's not as strong to me. But I believe out of all the Links, Young Link is the best one. I'm preferential to characters that can really beat up on you and keep you solidified in that area. Like when Lil Mac does his punches and he keeps you in the area. When Piranha Plant does his bites and he keeps you in the area in front of him. And when Link is just going to town on you with his sword and keeps you right there, it allows me time to process and figure out what my next strategy is going to be, rather than just boom boom and then out like some characters are. And Young Link, with his projectiles and his shield and his recovery ability and just the angles that he can have with it, I really like Young Link, and I believe that he's underutilized in some of the events that I go to, and a lot of people forget how damaging and how really good he is. Number 37, Fox. Okay, so in the past, I probably would have put Fox a lot lower on this list, because Fox to me doesn't have that quality smash move that really gets the opponents off the stage. That is the hardest part about playing with Fox, in my opinion. But at the same time, I do remember there was a time where I went to a local, amateur Super Smash Brothers tournament with a lot of people who knew how to play, and I remember I wanted to be Piranha Plant. Piranha Plant is my main. Piranha Plant is my main. So Piranha Plant is my main, and they didn't have it on that particular Switch because they hadn't downloaded it yet. So what do? I go to Fox. Now, what was awesome about it, I was playing somebody who was Lucas, and this guy really knew what he was doing. But the thing was, Fox was so quick, and he was almost so quick like Sonic, to the fact that I couldn't quite control him. The difficult part about playing as Fox is trying to figure out what your opponent is going to do and when they're left open, so that you can kind of get a smash attack going and be able to knock them off the board. Fox's recovery is good, Fox's shields are good, Fox's quickness is what sets him apart, and his jump is so well, he's a pretty good, well-rounded, fast character. The only detriment to him is trying to get people off the stage consistently. He can do a lot of damage, but when it comes down to actually getting them off the stage, he suffers a little bit. But he's still 36 on this list. Number 35, King K. Rool. And talk about a heavyweight with an advantage. King K. Rool actually has been one of my favorite heavyweights to play as. As frustrating as it is how slow he is when it comes to getting in and actually being able to pummel your opponents, his recovery ability is like no other. I would put him up there with Piranha Plant's recovery. As far as the up special move, I would put him up there with Snake's recovery. I mean, they are kind of similar in the ways that they recover. And he can be really frustrating, because unless you can knock him all the way off the stage, off screen, there's gonna be a way King K. Rool can get back on stage. Not to mention his blast cannon has some tricky advantages. His crown has some tricky advantages, so he's got semi-projectiles that he can work with, even though they're a little slower to get started. And then at the same time, if you need to, I mean, it's just a quick 1-2 punch and you are out of the arena. Number 34, Pikachu. A few years ago, I would have put Pikachu a lot higher. But what I've noticed about this version of Pikachu, and it may not be that much different than the other versions of Pikachu, is that he seems a tad too slow for me. Because in this age of Super Smash Brothers, I really feel that combos are where it's at. Combos and setting up and spacing and hitboxes are kind of where it's at. Pikachu seems to be doing a lot of things well, but not a lot of things great. In all reality, it's interesting to me that Pichu actually comes across as the better fit. Pikachu is better for beginners and novices, and Pichu is better for the the pro players and the people who really understand the ins and outs of the game. Some of you might disagree with me harshly about that, but I find that Pikachu, he's serviceable, but he's just not, he doesn't have that oomph that I remember. And that might be because the roster has gotten so big that he's kind of getting lost in the shuffle, but this is no disrespect to one of the original 8. Number 33, Mr. Game & Watch. Alright, this is going to throw a lot of people off. Mr. Game & Watch has devastating moves, and they can be really annoying if you're playing against them. I haven't seen many pro players use them yet, but I think we can chalk that up to the fact that they might not know how to play him as well, and there might be other characters with more, like I said before with Pikachu, there might be other characters with more combo advantages. But Mr. Game & Watch, although he's not much to look at, he does pack some serious punch, and when he's doing one of his specials, if he hits that number 9, I mean, that's it. It's like a home run bat. And so he's a force to be reckoned with, even though he might not be that much fun to play with. He's not personally one of my favorites, but I gotta give him respect on where he is, and that's why he's at number 33. Number 32, Lucas. So, if I had it my way, Lucas would be in the top 10, but I have to try to be as unbiased as possible. I've always loved Lucas since the inception of Lucas. I didn't know much about Earthbound when he first came out, but at the same time, just Lucas as a character is just fun to play with, but he's very angly. And so he doesn't, when somebody's a beginner and they play with Lucas, they're probably going to be frustrated in the fact that it seems as if some of his psychic moves take too long to develop. It seems that some of his, doesn't really have his combos down. It seems like he's just a tad slow, but really he's a monster. Like his edge guarding ability with his special move of being able to take the ice move and be able to travel it in an angle, when done correctly, can frustrate the heck out of so many other opposing players. I say that because when I was Fox playing against another player during a tournament, it was frustrating the heck out of me because if I took a certain angle, tried to get back on with Fox, he was already edge guarding with his special B move, and I thought it was crazy. And his psychic moves are so powerful, and I think that he's a good, well-rounded character, and I wish I could put him higher on this list, but I just can't. Number 31, Lucario! Alright, so some of you might roast me for this, but I actually think Lucario's underrated. I think Lucario, I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back. I think Lucario is underrated. When a character can get stronger based on more damage that they receive, that character is top tier for me. Now, he may be just a different version of Mewtwo or not Mewtwo. He may be just a different version of some of the Pokemon that we've come to know and love over the years. But Lucario in the right hands can really be devastating. Now the thing with Lucario is you're not going to be able to stack up a lot of combos. So you have to be diligent about how you get in, stay in, and when to get out and how to charge up. You have to really think a few moves ahead. Lucario is a chess player Super Smash Bros. Character, not a checkers player Super Smash Bros. Character such as Pikachu. Alright, that is my list from 40 to 41 for Super Smash Bros. Characters, and we will be getting these videos out a little bit quicker. I do apologize for how long it's been. If you checked the last video that I did, you know that I have been in a new job teaching kindergarten, whoop whoop! And so it's been a little more difficult to get these videos out with consistency, but that is going to change. I'm going to be more adamant about getting videos out. So to all of my subscribers, to everybody who's watched, viewed, commented, or liked so far, thank you for being loyal subscribers and loyal fans. This community is still going strong, and I really appreciate it. And if you are new to our community, please give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. We'll be doing giveaways soon. When we reach certain subscriber numbers, there's more information that's going to come on that, and I will let you know in the near future. In the meantime, continue to have a love for lifelong learning, chase your infinity, and we will catch you in the next video. Yes, Pikachu is... he probably should be lower on this list.